it being just incredible.
Sir Anthony Hopkins, the face of some of film's most memorable characters.
It's just...
From the bone-chilling Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
To Shakespeare's King Lear.
And now, Cordelia, mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes.
His career spans more than 6 decades. What have you learnt about yourself, about the world?
Enjoy it now before it's too late. Just enjoy it as much as you can.
Teetotal for 50 years, he's battled some personal demons.
I do not crave for booze.
I was beginning to lose control of my life, really. I mean, I'd attack directors if they dare to look at me the wrong way.
Now he has a message about the polarisation sweeping the world.
If we go on in this way of hatred, nobody's allowed to say anything, nobody's allowed to have an opinion, we are dead. That's fascism.
I travelled here to the City of Angels to meet him as he publishes his memoir. In it, he bears his soul, a Welsh boy written off as a failure who reached the heights of Oscar glory.
I will first read a list of the mutineers who seized my ship.
The crew is not on trial here, Mr. Bligh. You, sir, are on trial.
There can be no whitewash at the White House. God bless America, and God bless each and every one of you.
This is Anthony Hopkins, a career in character.
Looking back to that photograph, that was taken in 1942. I remember that day clearly. It was a Sunday morning during the war. A friend of my father's offered me a candy, a cough sweet, something. You couldn't get candies in those days. I dropped it in his hand and they started to get table. And my father said, "Oh," so they give me another one. But I look back now at that little confused boy, and I said, "We did okay, kid. We were okay," because during my school years as a boy, I was not bright. I was not the brightest piece of cutlery in the drawer.
See, I think the bizarre thing reading this book is you clearly were bright. You read the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
You knew about all sorts of things to do with astronomy. You read Charles Dickens. You played the piano. You were an artist. And yet you were constantly being told you're not bright. But
That's
you
right.
are clearly bright.
I guess so. Part of my brain is not very practical. But yes, I was gifted with something, you know, the music. I remember the morning when my father had ordered these children's encyclopedias. And I was so captivated that I read every one of them. And I gathered the children's knowledge of things which were kind of useless knowledge in a way, but interesting for me. But I still couldn't quite get it, you know. And then the turning point was in 1955. I was 17. My school report had arrived and it was pretty bleak. Anthony seems to be way below the educational standard of the school. And my father, with all good intentions, said, "I don't know what's going to happen to you. What's going to happen to you? I mean, you know, we're trying to help you. Can't you concentrate?" And I remember stepping back about a step, and I said, "One day I'll show you, both of you." And he looked at me and said, "Well, I hope you do." And my mother said, "I'm sure you will."
And you did.
And he did. He put the report into the fireplace. And within a few months, I got a scholarship as an actor. I'd never acted before in my life, to the Cardiff College of Music and Drama. And from then on, it was, I mean, I've been so fortunate beyond my, I couldn't take credit for any of it. I couldn't have planned any of this. And now at 87, about to turn 88, I get up in the morning and think, hello, I'm still here. And I still don't get it.
You're bullied by other kids. They say you've got an elephant head. You're written off by teachers. What was it, do you think, that you had in you to succeed? Do you think it was actually the sort of constantly being told you wouldn't that really galvanised you?
It did, yes. I think it gave me a core of anger, resentment and revenge. But I think at that point in my early life, I decided I wasn't going to play a role of being stupid. So what I did to compensate my shortcomings, my academic shortcomings, I would learn massive pieces of poetry and, you know, Shakespeare. And my father said to me, he said, He said, well, do that piece from Hamlet. I said, okay. And I'd give him a couple of pieces of What a Rogue and Peasant Slave My ought to be on me. And he'd look at me, he said, how did you do that? He said, in school, you were hopeless. I said, how have you done that? I said, no. Unfortunately, he lived long enough to see me, ascend the steps of this profession.
And the Oscar goes to Anthony Hopkins in The Silence of the Lambs.
And that ascent has brought him 2 Academy Awards, including this one in 1992.
My father died 11 years ago tonight, so maybe he had something to do with this as well, I don't know.
He's an actor known for his emotional depth and psychological insight. As a doctor, he became a friend and protector to John Hurt's Elephant Man.
Can you cure me? No. No, we can care for you, but we can't cure you.
You have an incredible understanding of people and and their emotions. It feels like watching you. You're a very instinctive actor.
We humans are the most complex. I mean, how can you produce Beethoven, Bach, and then Treblinka and Auschwitz? I'm not a nationalist thing, but we are all capable of that. So out of turmoil comes great creative power. So we have the choice all the time, even in our daily behaviour, to try to be kind, but always at the back behind you is death. So you better get on with it, enjoy it, and be as kind as possible. Hi, how are you?
So Anthony's own daily behaviour often involves getting noticed.
I guess that happens all the time.
It does, of course, but he's never been a show-off about the craft of acting.
I like to say hi because people think actors are special, but they're not at all.
Lieutenant Bligh, perhaps it would be useful if you told the court, in your own words, the events of April the 28th last year.
Yes, sir.
And you've worked with some of the greats, Laurence Olivier, Richard Attenborough, Katharine Hepburn.
Now I've only one desire left, to see you king.
The only thing you want to see is father's vitals on the bed of letters. You don't care who wins, as long as Henry loses, you do anything.
And she gives you a piece of advice about acting.
Yeah. She said, just speak the lines. I said, yeah. And you got a good shoulders and you got a good head, good voice. Just don't act, just do it.
I won't trade off Alice or the Aquitaine to that walking posture! No one is there! Why wouldn't there? A knife! He's got a knife!
Of course he has a knife. He always has a knife. We all have knives. It's 1183 and we're barbarians.
And it's the best advice I had. And I took that advice.
You live here in LA. You're born in Wales. It must be a source of pride, but also a pressure to be a Welsh national treasure. How do you see it?
I came over here because I couldn't fit into the British theatre style of it. I just felt out of it. I came over here 50 years ago for a breath of fresh air and some sunshine. I didn't want to be standing on stage holding a spear for the rest of my life in wrinkle tights or doing Shakespeare. I just wanted to have a bit of a life. And California opened it up for me. It gave me a wonderful life. But now I go back all the time to Europe. And to go back to Wales brings back all those memories.
And I'm just coming up past my father's shop. You'll just see it's a flash. The shop that is now Annabelle's used to be a fish and chip shop. The shop next door to it, the red one, was my father's shop.
Now that I'm this age, I feel more Welsh than ever, yes.
Despite his success, he has had his demons.
I do not crave for booze.
And playing a drunken actor on TV was close to home. Getting drunk, he says, was the only way he could feel normal.
You do also talk in the book very movingly about your personal battles with drink in the early days. You gave up alcohol 50 years ago. That's a very long time. At one point, Katharine Hepburn says, what's wrong with all you Brits? There's just so much alcohol around. Do you understand? Do you know why? Why was everybody drunk all the time?
She said, you actors, you just drink all the time. What's the matter with you? You're all going to die young. You die young. And she said, stop it, you got to stop it and grow up. And she was right. But in those days, being an actor, you're a rebel. And everyone wanted to be Marlon Brando or James Dean. And so drinking was a tribute, we're free, we don't need all this. And you get a lot of fun to a point. I was lucky to hear a little voicing one day, it's going to kill you. And because I was beginning to lose control of my life, really. I mean, I would pick fights with people, and I'd attack directors if they dared to look at me the wrong way. And they had a right, because they were directors, but I would go, you know. And that's not good.
Yeah, where did that rage come from?
From inside my own insecurities of being bullied at school and all the rest of it. And I didn't like authority. Now I've mellowed and come to a point, well, everyone's doing the best they can. And that's my philosophy. Now just enjoy it and, you know, be cooperative. Don't get angry about things.
You paint this picture, you say, in your words, you say, I could turn very nasty, and that's the ugly side of alcoholism. It brought out a brutal side of me. I'm not proud of it at all. What did you do at your worst? What do you, when you say that, what are you referring to?
I was in here in Los Angeles, and I was really tearing it up there. Impossible to work with. Really bad. I was a bad boy. Not proud of any of that. I was driving my car in a complete alcoholic blackout, and I could have killed someone, and or killed myself, but to take out an entire family in a car crash, in a blackout. And I thought, when I discovered that night, it was December of 1975, just coming up 50 years ago, and I said to somebody, I need help, and I made the phone call. For some reason, just because my ego was smashed, I was out of control, and I realised I couldn't beat this rap. And I made a phone call, and suddenly, a bright morning of 29th of December 1975, something said, it's all over, now you can start living. It's all been for a purpose. So don't forget one moment of it. And I take it from that, whatever that was, subconscious or whatever it is, or destiny, whatever, God, whatever you want to call it. The craving left. I just never come back.
I'd like to talk about one of the roles that defines you, in a sense, still all these years on. You called it at the time a life changer.
Good morning.
Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling. May I speak with you?
You're one of Jack Crawford's, aren't you?
I watched it again recently. It's as terrifying now as it was then.
Yeah.
I think you said you instinctively knew how to play Hannibal. I have the devil in me. We all have the devil in us. I know what scares people. How do you know that? And what's the devil inside you?
There's a scene where Jodie Foster's Clarice says, she's talking to her superior, you know, Scott Glenn, and said, do you know Hannibal Lecter? You mean Hannibal the cannibal. And immediately you get that. You mean Hannibal the cannibal. You can feel an audience already going, oh my God. And then she goes to the asylum and she meets Dr. Chilton. And she said, what's he like? Oh, he's a monster. And then I thought that you play the reverse of it. Instead of gibbering in the corner, you're standing in the middle of the cell.
That expires in 1 week. You're not real FBI, are you?
I'm still in training at the academy.
And Jonathan Demme, I said, where would you want to be discovered from her point of view? I said, standing. Okay, why? I said, I can smell her. Jonathan said, you're weird. So he did it, and that's what it is. You go the opposite way. You draw back. The more still you are, and deadly, and don't take your eyes off the person. That's terrifying.
It is.
You're not real FBI, are you? All the way to the FBI. That's scary.
It is. And that line that everybody remembers.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Where did that come from?
That happened at that moment. Yeah, I just added it for a joke. So they kept it in. But that came from, I think, when I was a kid, I saw Dracula, Jonathan Harker, and Bela Lugosi, and he's shaving, and he nicks himself. And he can't see, because Dracula doesn't reflect in the mirror, Jonathan Harkins, and he nicks himself. And Bela Lugosi, and that scared people. But to play Iago, Iago, the most evil villain written by Shakespeare. He says, what's he then that says I play the villain? When this advice is free, I give. I make a net that shall ensnare them all. And you realize that there's a diabolical monster inside. And we all have that.
Do we? Do we all have the monster?
Well, we do, because we have to survive. Unless we control it, unless we find ways of, finding ways around it. Every day we can come up with, punishing ideas and quarrelsomeness, as I did. But you have to stop. You have to say, OK, this is enough. I can't do this. People don't deserve this.
In his memoir, he writes that his wife Stella believes he is probably on the autism spectrum.
You say you prefer to call it being a cold fish. Why do you prefer that? And would that knowledge have helped you when you were younger, if you had known about, neurodiversity? Would that have helped you explain yourself or understand yourself better?
The cold fish came from being bullied or being punished in school by teachers. And I think in the British Army, I did my national service. And you had to be careful, because if you were screamed at by sergeants and trainers, And so what I would do is I'd revert into what they call dumb insolence. Be beaten, and I just stare them out. The teacher would slap you across the head for not knowing a mathematical formula or something. Stare them out, and that drove them mad. And that was power for a while. So you withdraw into yourself, thinking, OK, you can't hurt me, can you? Nothing you can do can get me. And that's where I started. That's how I think I developed my own personality. Of course, it's not the healthiest way to go through life, but at the time, it was my only defense. Stare them out. Don't fight back. Oh, you want to beat me about? OK, fine, go ahead. I don't care.
At one point in your career, you actually played a president. You played Nixon.
There can be no whitewash at the White House. Two wrongs do not make a right. Now, I love America. God bless America. And God bless each and every one of you.
Oliver Stone explains why he cast you, and it ties into your character. Can you remember what he said about why he cast you?
I said, why do you cast me? He said, because you're nuts. He said, I've read some of your interviews. He said, you're so rattled and insecure. I said, am I? Yeah. He said, and that's Nixon. And James Woods said to me he was in the film, and James said to me once, he said, this part's not too far removed from me. Because I had that understanding of paranoia. And, these are all useful feelings as defense mechanisms when you're young. But then you've got to finally jettison them and get rid of them, because they can only hold you back. And that's living is a process of self-analysis in a way, and an understanding of other people, and that you're not unique.
OK, so that's one president. If Oliver Stone came to you and said, will you play President Trump for me, what would you say?
Trump?
Could you play Trump?
No, Alec Baldwin does it, won't they? I don't think I could do that.
No?
Yeah.
It will be possible in not very long that Anthony Hopkins, a scan of you that looks real, could carry on acting new roles after you've gone.
I'm glad I won't be here.
Would you say yes to that, or would you say no?
I'd be far gone by then. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I've no idea. One thing I'm blessed with, and part of my ignorance, is this whole newfangled stuff. I don't know anything about it. I really don't take any notice of it.
And writing the book, you've obviously had to look back at your life, assessing your life, your career. What lessons do you take from it? What have you learnt about yourself, about the world?
Enjoy it now before it's too late. Just enjoy it as much as you can. Don't be a victim. Stop whining. I think that comes from my father. Stand up straight. Stop complaining. You don't know anything. And that's what I try to do, but I can't lecture anyone on anything. But I would say in secret, just stop whining about it all. Just get on with it. Life is tough.
We met in 2023 when we were talking about your portrayal of Nicholas Winton, who saved so many children from the Nazis.
Here's a photograph of Nicholas Winton himself, with one of the children he rescued. We found her name on his list, and Vera is here with us tonight. Hello, Vera.
Hello.
Now, I should tell you that you are, in fact, sitting next to Mr. Nicholas Winton.
Hello. Hello.
And you told me, like Nicholas Winton says, the only way is compromise. Give thought and heed to the other person's point of view. Do you feel that we are increasingly more polarised than we've
yes,
ever
we
been?
are. We are.
Do you worry
so
about
much
it?
hatred and, well, I mean, it's we're living in the world has always been a place of utter turmoil. But I think if we go on in this way of hatred, nobody's allowed to say anything, nobody's allowed to have an opinion, we are dead. That's fascism. Nobody's allowed to have an opinion, nobody can have a different view. That's fascism. And it's insanity.
Yeah.
And you want to say, come on, stop this rubbish, beating each other up of ideas. They're only ideas. And we're all going to be dead one day. Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there.
To your mind, the greatest part ever written was King Lear, a role you've played twice. In 2018, one critic described you as at home in Lear's skin. Yeah. And in the book, you say Lear, even when Cordelia dies, insists he's not going to weep. But then he breaks down too, as my father too broke down, and how you began to cry both as Lear and as yourself, which I read as meaning that you drew on your own pain and experiences to play the Lear. Is that right?
Yes. The reality in Lear, he's been through hell himself and madness. Then he comes awake. I'm a feeble, fond old man. But he realises that in the sack is just a lump of rotting meat. That's brutal. Because he knows that's what he is as well. That's me. My father. That's it. The brutality of life. But it doesn't mean to say we have to live in a brutal way. Life is brutal. But you go the opposite way and try to find a way out, as Lear does at the end, when he comes out of his madness. How now, Cordelia, mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes.
Aye, my good lord. Playing King Lear made him realise how much he'd hurt his own daughter, Abigail, who he walked out on when she was 1 and he was in the depths of alcoholism.
I did her wrong.
He didn't want to talk about her in our interview. In the book, he calls their ongoing estrangement a tremendous source of pain that broke his heart.
And now, looking back through your life, what are your biggest regrets? What are the things that you have...
People I've hurt over the years, the stupid things they did. We all have those. Doesn't make us any different, but yeah, I never want to go back to that stage of lunacy. I've seen it happen in other people, and it's a terrible... I mean, it's a terrible curse, that is. So I don't want to go back to there.
Not everyone can say that Sir Anthony Hopkins has played them one of his own compositions. This talented musician, artist and actor seems at 87 still mystified by all he's achieved. More recently, he's had to come to terms with losing his LA home in the fires earlier on this year.
We lost the 2 pianos in the fire. They're all under the rubble. So I play every day. Gotta enjoy life.
Are you happy now? Because for so many years you weren't happy. And it feels really, you know, you've had obviously this terrible thing happen, your house was burnt down here in LA, lots of awful things, and yet you seem at ease, you seem happy.
Yeah, I am. Because, I mean, most of my friends are dead, they've gone. God bless them, but they've gone. I think holy Moses, my next of it, so I hope to be around a little longer. But even that, I'm thinking, oh well, I had a good time. I had a laugh. And that I'm pleased with. I had a good laugh. While it lasted, for all the sins, for all the ups and downs, life is in session.
Reading the book, it made me think that you were starting to think about the passing of the years, the knowledge that you haven't got all the time in the world left. The poems feel quite elegiac.
They do. They feel like they're very powerful memories for me. And I go back, I'm relearning them again because I'd forgotten, you know, I don't go on reciting them all day, but I knew them all. Yeah, they are not long, the days of wine and roses. Out of a misty dream, our path emerges for a while, then closes within the dream. That's it. And beyond that, we don't know, do we? We all think we know. Or we all, you know, whatever our beliefs are. But finally we know nothing. I look at my little cat, his consciousness, think, what is it all about? What is this all about? What is the universe? What are we doing here? What are we? We can't explain anything about ourselves. We may have fancy ideas, religious ideas, philosophical ideas, scientific ideas, or we have opinions and we won't tolerate anyone else's opinion. What's that all about? We're nothing, finally, and yet we're everything.
Yeah, well, that's a very profound moment to end it on. Thank you so much, Sir Anthony Hopkins. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.